Yesterday, a child came out to wonder.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Megan Victoria. My name is Megan. I'm a pro hair makeup artist and I have the square face. Okay, so we've been through this. We've now done 2 other videos on square faces, so if you are new, please make sure to check those out. But today I'm so excited. So our last video, I tried to basically cram all the tips and tricks I had about square faces all into one video. And it was a lot, and a lot of you guys were like, okay, this is all really great and all, but can we have a more simplified version? So today we're gonna take a step back and we're gonna really focus on face sculpting. That is like my favorite thing. So I have really grown to embrace my square face and all of its squareness. But that being said, I definitely like when it's a little bit more chiseled, a little bit more elevated, and it's got a little bit more going on. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. I'm gonna walk you through my entire base routine, so how I do my foundation, my concealer, but then I'm gonna show you highlights and contours, the difference between contour and bronzing. We're gonna show you different products, different techniques, and just things that you can use at home to really kind of elevate your contour game and, you know, get the face shape you desire. Now, when I did the first video, I was just like, this is great. I'm helping some people. They can learn some tips and tricks with square faces. A lot of the comments I read on my video made me really sad. A lot of you guys talked about being bullied and just being shunned for having a square face, and it made me really reflect on the days where I would have comments made to me, and I just need to say that I am so sorry that's happening to you. You do not deserve that at all. Kids can be so cruel, and most of the time people who watch my videos tend to be a lot older, like 25 to say 35 and above, but I've had so many like high school kids reach out, and it's been really incredible because I'm really happy that you have someone to talk to, whether it's me on the internet or it's your mom or a family friend or your friends, whatever. It's so important that you're really talking about how you're feeling, and I just genuinely am so sorry that I'm not gonna cry. Why are you crying? I'm not crying. This is so weird. Okay, give me a moment. I just think it's so important that you have that support, and kids can be freaking cruel. That's all I can say. And you know what? It just sucks, and I just want to tell you, you do not deserve that. I am so sorry you're going through that, but let me tell you, it does get better with time, and the more you develop a relationship with yourself and really learn to cherish the person you are on the inside, but also the outside, it does get better. I am so sorry if you are struggling with having a square face, which seems so silly, especially in the world we live in and all the shit that's going on. Like, having a square face is not the end of the world. I have definitely learned to embrace it, and I will tell you, the one thing that really helped me to actually learn to embrace my face, I realized that you cannot change things like that. There's some things in your body you can change, but you know what, yo, I cannot like break my bones and like move them around and change them. So why am I hating on something that I can't change? I could spend my whole life feeling miserable as something like my face shape, but like I can't change it, so why bother? So I started looking at like really beautiful women that I found were stunning, who had a similar face shape, like Sophia Loren, even like Rosie Huntington-Whiteley has a little bit more of a square face. So just these really beautiful women, and like appreciating their beauty kind of helped appreciate mine. And is that the most healthiest way? I don't know, but is that what worked for me? Yes, so I'm gonna share it. But really looking in the mirror, realizing you can't change something, so you might as well embrace it. Like that's the end of the day. I hate your face for the rest of your life? No, that's such a waste of time. Focus on what's amazing and beautiful about you on the inside. But if you do want a little tips and tricks for, you know, emphasizing what you got and showing off the goods, then I really hope you guys enjoy this video. And without further ado, let us get started. All right, so we're gonna get started. Now, I've already prepped my skin. I just used a basic serum. I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation as it's nice and lightweight. I actually learned you can use this one with your fingers and it works fantastically. So I'm just going to smooth this all over the skin. I love a foundation you can apply with your fingers. It's just like such a time saver. So I usually kind of rub it on, and then I use the warmth of my fingers just to like pat and blend it in with the skin. But this one is just like the most natural, most gorgeous, like no makeup foundation. It's just stunning. Like, I highly recommend this formula. Okay, so once I've done like just a basic layer, I'm gonna just take one little pump, and I'm just gonna take my sponge and just where I need a little bit more coverage. So for me, it is my cheek redness around the nose and just more the center of the face, basically where the blood is peeking through underneath the skin. I want to get rid of that. So okay, so super lightweight and very natural. I know that was like the biggest comment, is everyone wanted to see more natural makeup but with the same kind of techniques. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take a little bit of a color corrector. So I'm gonna use this nice little peach concealer from Benefit, basically any color corrector, just to correct the darkness we get underneath the eyes. So I'm just gonna simply pounce that on, no big deal, and just blend that in. You can also use your finger or a sponge or a brush, whatever you prefer. I always get the darkness on the outer corners because I always have that and it drives me crazy. And then also on the inner corners. It seemed a lot of you guys who clicked on the square face makeup video were a little bit more new to makeup or don't know like all the tips and tricks in the world, which is totally cool. But the benefit of using the benefit, get it? Oh my god. Okay, so the benefit of using a color corrector like this is basically its basic color theory. We have blue tones underneath our eyes. Sometimes they're even purple, so we want to use the corresponding shade. So because I am lighter in complexion, I tend to have more blue tones underneath the eyes. So I like to use something that has some orange to correct that. Then we can go into our concealer. If we go in with our concealer with just bare eyes, it just looks gray, and it's my biggest pet peeve I see on YouTube, on Instagram, from basically anyone who doesn't color correct. It can work for you sometimes, sure, but for me, I definitely need that color corrector just to warm it up underneath the eyes so that my concealer is going on a more neutral surface, so it's actually brightening and doing what I need it to do. So, speaking of, I'm gonna use my Make Up Forever concealer because we used a nice light layer foundation. Like, you can literally not even see it on the skin. I'm gonna get this guy because I just could not resist picking. I couldn't resist it, so we went for it. So then I'm gonna get right underneath the eyes, like so, and again, the outer corner. And then the same thing right around the nose, sometimes just on the cheek. This is where I'll use my coverage and actually use the concealer to my benefit. So just get anywhere you want a little bit more coverage that you didn't want to like plaster your face with foundation. And this technique is just gonna give you the most like coverage, but it's gonna look the most natural because you're only putting the coverage where you need it. You're gonna be pesky, I know you are. You can hear Mella's little feet. And then right under the eyes, and you'll just join with that outer corner concealer, and then you'll get like the whole under eye area without like putting concealer like, you know, you don't need the full on triangles to get the coverage you need. So I just kind of like to put it at the starting place and the ending place, and then the middle just kind of blends itself together. If you're happy with this, then that is perfect. But the whole idea about the contouring and kind of like giving us the illusion of a more like chiseled square face, which is kind of what we're going for. We know we can't change our face shape, but at least I like it to look a little bit more snatched and a little bit more like chiseled. So that's what basically my goal is. So with the concealer, what I'll do is I'll take this. This is way lighter. So now you want a lighter concealer. I'm gonna apply this right into the inner corner. So we're definitely adding our brightness here, which is gonna, again, bring all the attention to the center of the face. I like to do a little down the nose, a little on the tip of the nose, and on the Cupid's bow, basically where I want the light. So I want all the light and focus to be in the center of the face. I'm not trying to elongate my face. You can if that's like your goal, but my chin area is pretty small and my forehead's not the smallest, so I don't really want to bring more light to it. Now with that, I also really like to lift my cheekbones, so I always take my concealer and I bring it right on out, just like that. As well, we're gonna see this in the contour. When I'm gonna contour, I'm gonna use on my cheekbone line, I'm gonna just kind of do a little reverse contour. So that little line is just gonna naturally deepen our contour and make the shadow seem more pronounced, even though we haven't done anything. Like, look, we haven't even contoured, but do you see the dimension we're getting in the face already just by doing that? Now we can take our sponge and just start blending this out. And all we're doing is just really adding that light to the center of the face and then out to the cheekbone, really lifting the cheekbone. Then you can just blend out this reverse contour line. This is one of my favorite tricks to do. Like, you can literally see, you don't even have to add contour, but by just highlighting right there, we've already shaped our cheekbone so nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna go over what we've done so far, just as a quick recap. So we started off, we prepped our skin however you prep your skin. If you have oily skin, dry skin, whatever moisturizer, serum, or primer works for you is perfect. Then we went in just with a light foundation. All we wanted to do was just even out the skin tone, make everything nice and cohesive, and then we went in with a little color corrector. Color corrector is the love of my life. So all we did was neutralize any of the dark tones underneath the eyes. So when we lay our concealer on, it's gonna be as light and bright as it needs to be. Instead of putting it on a color that's not the same as the rest of our skin tone, it's just not gonna balance the face correctly. So once we've done that, we use a coverage concealer. So that's our first concealer, which was the Make Up Forever one. love this concealer. It's so undetectable and it sets on its own, so you don't even have to worry about that, which is marvelous. So all we did with that is we put it where we need a little bit of concealing, which is a little bit of the redness around the nose, the mouth, that kind of area, a little bit on the chin if you need, in between the brows sometimes like a little redness, but it was not to like draw light into the face. It was just to, you know, conceal, correct, add a little bit more coverage as we went nice and light with the foundation. Then we went in with a brightening concealer. So this is the Naked Concealer. It is nice high coverage. It is very light and bright, and we pinpointed exactly where we want the light to hit. So we want all the attention in the center of the face. So I applied it right underneath the eyes. I applied it down the nose and the cupid's bow. So I'm keeping this nice little triangle. And then because I like a good snatched cheekbone, I lifted my cheekbone with the concealer by dragging it out, and I also did a reverse contour line. So helpful. So that is the highlighting portion. So that is all about bringing light to the face. Whenever we bring light to the face, we are going to make the features pop out, and it's going to come towards the eye. So anything, you know, we put light on is going to be reflective. It's going to appear bigger and brighter. So we now have brighter and bigger cheekbones, which I love. So now we're on to contouring. Okay, so let's just talk about contouring for a second. I have a prop. This is how we're gonna get real fancy. Okay, so we talked about how highlighting is bringing light to the face, right? So I have this light that's coming straight on my face, and everything that we highlighted is now coming forward. So that's the center of the face, like so. Contour is when we add shadows. Anytime we add shadows, everything's gonna recede away. It's gonna kind of come together, right? The light absorbs it, and so it creates these shadows. So by creating these shadows, I'm gonna show you. This is how we're creating a shadow. So if I put black near my face, you can already see my cheekbone is so much more snatched already. I put it to the other side, and we're creating shadows. So this is exactly what we're trying to do when we are contouring. We are creating natural shadows of where the light is gonna hit in the highlights, and shadows where the darkness is gonna be on the sides of the face. So you can see the cheekbone gets a natural shadow, around the forehead gets a natural shadow, and around the jawline, and it slims the face. So because we can't carry around, you know, pieces of paper with us all day, we're gonna do it with makeup. So I've played around with many types of contour and bronzing products. Now, to be clear, contour and bronzer is not the same, okay? Contour, we're adding shadow. When we're adding bronzer, we're actually adding warmth to the face, kind of like a sun-kissed glow. We're trying to do what the sun naturally does. So let's talk about the main differences. So basically, when you have a contour shade, it's gonna be very neutral in tone. It's gonna kind of have a gray feel to it because we are creating a shadow. It's not just like a dark bronzer, because a dark bronzer still has that warmth, it still has that like orangey kind of hue or that olivey hue, but a contour shade, so one of my favorite ones is this RCMA it's S1 Foundation. I've had this for so long, but it is such a good contour color, and it has a nice neutral to gray tone to it. Like you can see how kind of like, it's not a bronzer. It doesn't look like a bronzer. It looks like a taupey brown, and that's essentially what we want for creating shadows. Now, however, times have changed, and a lot of us tend to use a lot more bronzer as contour, and it naturally will do what a contour does because it is a deeper shade. Anything deeper, again, you know, it's less light reflection, it's gonna look deeper, your cheekbones are gonna recede more, etc., etc. So you can use a bronzer, and that is totally fine. I love using bronzer, but I hate when it looks orange and red. It drives me crazy, so I like a more olivey tone. So one of my favorite things that you guys have seen me use non-stop on this channel last few months is the Desert 6.5 Complexion Rescue Foundation Stick. I love using foundations as a bronzer contour. When you use a foundation, you've got the right undertone for your skin tone, and you can go maybe like 2-3 shades darker. This one is 3 shades darker, I think, than I am. So I'm the number 3 in this for foundation, but I have the 6.5. This has become one of my favorite products because it is a foundation. It also really melts into the skin. It's just like really, really lovely. Stick foundations are fantastic bronzer contour products. And then of course you have your bronzers. One of my bronzers that I love is the Jlo Bronzer, but you can see, let's just talk about this for a second. Okay, you can see the definite difference in these two shades. You probably thought that this actually wasn't that cool tone, but beside this nice warm bronzer, you can definitely see that this has got a lot more red golden tones to this, and this is just very like neutral. So we're gonna try and use actually both of them because I want to show you kind of the look you can create. So I don't tend to use this product on myself that often because I always look bronze, like that's my goal. But if you're not trying to look bronze and you're literally just trying to look sculpted, this is a really great product. So we're just gonna grab some of this, and we're gonna talk about where the placement is. So basically the top of the ear to the corner of the mouth. So honestly, feel the bones in your face. That's gonna be the best answer for you. But I'm gonna go from the back of the cheekbone into the mouth. So already you can see how much of a shadow that creates. That's not creating like warmth and bronziness. That's a shadow. And I'm also gonna take it back here, right where the temple is, because again, that's where our natural shadow is. And now already my cheekbone looks way more elevated and like, ooh, snatch. I talked about this before. I don't like cutting off my square jaw. If you want to, you can absolutely do that. But I find for me, because my square jaw is so prominent, it just looks like I have a beard. And I kind of like, I've grown to like it. So I like to like emphasize it rather than shade it away. So I actually will kind of contour right underneath. And then that is just going to make the jaw even more prominent, so you can see it like that. Okay, so then we're just gonna blend this in. I like to blend up because I want to hold the cheekbone and blend up like so. And then blend down here and blend here. So hopefully you can now see that we've already snatched the cheekbone. We are nice and contoured on this side. This side, we still have a little contour because we do have the reverse contour, which is hella important and amazing. But you can see we've just contoured here. We don't look like all bronzy and glowy, but we still look, you know, cute. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you on this side, just the bronzer version. So especially for the everyday, you can see already how warm that is. And I like to put a little bit up here. And I can do it a little thicker because we're trying to do a bronzy kind of warm look. I'm gonna use my little sponge and I'm gonna sponge upwards. Okay, so really quickly, that is our bronzer contour side. This is definitely more of a modern approach that a lot of people like, where it's just kind of the bronzer. This, you can see, this is a cheekbone. This is contour, this is cute. So what we can do is we can incorporate them if you are, you know, wanting to kind of get the best of both worlds, which I love that idea. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of bronzer just on top of the contour, but I'm adding it just a little bit higher, just so it's gonna still be a part of like the sculpting of the cheekbone, but then we're just gonna add a little bit of our warmth. It's kind of like when we had the two concealers, one for coverage and one to brighten. Now we have one to sculpt and then one just for a little bit of warmth, but it's still going to just give us the same result. And we'll contour a little bit on this side, right in the depths of the shadow, so we're really pinpointing the light, and then right in the temple. So you're thinking like what a skull would kind of look like. And then we'll just blend this out. And we'll also remember to do this, maybe. I know some people also go like under here, but like, I don't know. Does that make a difference? I guess it would cast a shadow onto your, oh, it does actually. It casts like a shadow onto your neck. Oh, I like that. I may do that now. I kind of really like that. I'm gonna add a little bit of bronze just around my forehead. I tend to add this bronzy shade more to the forehead than an actual contour because of just the way my face is shaped. I'm very flat on my forehead. So I find if I add that gray tone, it's just gonna look really muddy, where it looks a little bit more natural and sun-kissed when like I just think of, you know, the sun hitting my face. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling chiseled. I'm feeling cute. Okay, this is great. So what I wanna do now is we're gonna just do a little bit of setting just to keep everything in place. So I'm gonna go into my Magic Powder by Charlotte Tilbury and grab a little bit of powder. I'm just gonna go right underneath the eyes, very simply, and around the center of the face. I am not a baking person, like at all. My skin is just, it's not even that dry, but I don't like baking on my skin. So what I'll do is I'll take whatever powder I've left and I can kind of just lightly do a slight powder, just the same as we did the reverse contour. And again, it's just gonna really elevate and lift the cheekbone. And then just go around the center of the face. So it's just a light layer of powder, nothing heavy or crazy. Okay, and to finish this look off, some highlight really will elevate your whole game. So you have a really beautiful chiseled face and sculpting. Now I'm just gonna take a little bit of highlighter. This again is just going to bounce back light. So it's just gonna lift the cheekbones. It's gonna really just elevate the look and it's just gonna look gorgeous. And everyone loves highlighter, so you know, we Gucci. I love doing it on the nose, can't help it. But you can see how we've really created a nice balanced face, but it looks so natural. Like nobody's gonna be sitting there like going, whoa, you've got so much makeup on. Like it's such light layers of the products. I know I use quite a few products, but I do believe there's like there's layers to creating that really perfect look. Like you wouldn't ask a painter just to like, you know, lay something down. Like there's steps, there's elements, there's adding textures, there's adding highlights and shadows, and that's what we're creating with our face. Is like we have a whole canvas. But this is basically our finished look. I'm just gonna toss on some brows and some lip and we're gonna call it a day. But I hope you feel like a chiseled glam goddess. Alright guys, so there we have it. I hope you enjoyed. I feel so much more snatched. Like it is incredible. A little bit of makeup and you're just like, damn girl. We've been in quarantine, so like I haven't really, you know, done makeup or touched my face in like a really long time. So this was such a perfect little makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know what you think and let me know if you have any other questions. I'm here, I wanna help. So please leave your questions in the comment box. If we have to follow up with another video, we will. If I just need to type a little something to you, I can do that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.